Pinwright's Progress. Pinwright's Progress is a British television sitcom that aired on the BBC television service from 1946 to 1947, and was the world's first regular half-hour televised sitcom. The 10 episodes, which aired fortnightly in alternation with Kaleidoscope, were broadcast live from the BBC studios at Alexandra Palace. Still photographs are all that remain from this show's transmitted form. Pinwright's Progress was written by Rodney Hobson, produced and directed by John Glyn Jones, and the script editor was Ted Kavanagh, who also wrote the BBC radio comedy series It's That Man Again. Cast: James Hayter as Mr. J. Pinwright, Clarence Wright as Aubrey, Sarah Gregory as Sally Doolittle, Daphne Maddox as Miss Peasbody, Doris Palmer as Mrs. Sigsbee, Leonard Sharp as Ralph, Benita Liedl as Miss Rackstraw? Yes. Charles Owen as Salesman, Jill Christie as Pinwright's daughter. Outline: J. Pinwright is the proprietor of a small shop. He has a hated rival, and his staff only add to his problems by attempting to be helpful. Ralph, the messenger boy, is a deaf octogenarian. I'm going to assume that's how that's pronounced. Episodes. Episode 1. 29th November 1946. J. Pinwright is the proprietor of the smallest multiple stores in the world. He has a pretty daughter and a hated rival, and his difficulties are increased by his staff efforts to be helpful. Episode 2. 13th December 1946. Christmas was coming, and so, not to be beaten by his hated rival, the owner of McGilligally's store, Mr. Pinwright, prepares his Christmas bazaar. This is trouble, though, partly occasioned by the sudden appearance of 3 robed and bearded Father Christmases, one of whom is a fugitive from the law, Miss Sigsbee. However, lends tone to the proceeding by appearing in costume as the Fairy Queen, and all well ends well. Or does it? Episode 3, 27th December 1946. Mr. Pinwright intends to lure post-Christmas shoppers by a handsome gift to the store's 50th customer. Cigars or nylons. Cash customers only considered. In addition, he opens a brand new snack bar, puts some pills palmed off by him in that cunning... What does I say again? But some pills palmed off on him by that cunning salesman throws all his plans into confusion. Episode 4. Cash Crisis, 10th January 1947. Episode 5. Fashion and Passion, 24th January 1947. Episode 6. Strained Relations, 7th of February 1947. Episode 7. The Gypsies Warning, 21st February 1947. Episode 8. Gone to Seed, 21 March 1947. Episode 9. Radioactivity, 2nd of May 1947. Episode 10. Staggered Holiday, 16th of May 1947. References: General Maggie Tiss, British Television, An Illustrated Guide, Oxford University Press, British Film Institute, 1994. Mark Lewison, Radio Times Guide to TV Comedy, BBC Worldwide Limited, 2003. Sophie Carsten. Hedvig Sophie Carsten, 3rd of September 1783 to 25th February 1862, was a Swedish ballerina and artist, painter. Born to opera singers Christopher Christian Karlsson and Sophie Stepnowska, she was the sister of painter Elizabeth Charlotte Carsten. Sophie Kirsten became a dancer at the Royal Swedish Ballet and in the Royal Swedish Opera in Stockholm in 1805. She was appointed premier dancer. She was also active as a painter and participated in the exhibitions of the Royal Swedish Academy of Arts in Stockholm between 1802 and 1804. Her most noted painting was a mountain landscape. She married Filippo Tagnoli in 1803. Filippo Tagnoli in 1803 and became the mother of ballerina Marie Tagnoli. Missouri Pacific Depot, Bald Knob, Arkansas. Okay. The Missouri Pacific Depot is a historic railroad system at Market and Ramsey Street in Bald Knob, Arkansas. That's just how I'm going to pronounce it. I'm never going to pronounce that place right. It is a rectangular single-story structure, framed in wood and finished in brick, with a broad, shallow pitch hip roof. The northern side of the roof, where passengers waited, is supported by a brick post and a large L-shaped bracket, built in 1915. It is Bald Knob's second railroad station, a reminder of the role that railroads play in the city's development. The building was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1992. Why is there so much empty space here? That's probably why, that's all there was. Girondins de Bord... I swear these pages are getting hard to pronounce by the second. Super League Formula Team. Girondins de Bordeaux Super League Formula Team was the racing team of FC Girondins de Bordeaux. I don't know French, as you can tell. A football team that competes in France in Ligue 1. The Girondins de Bordeaux. How many times am I going to say that ridiculous name? Racing team competed in the Super League Formula. It was operated by Barazzi Epsilon for their debut season in 2010. The car itself was driven by Frank... Who spells Frank that way? Montagny in 2011. It was driven by Tristan Gomendy until the series collapsed. Record. T. Brazil Epsilon. See. Did not finish. 8th, X, 14, 3rd, X, 10, 14, X, 17, 1, X, 15, 2, X, Jevalagan, 12, 10, X, Frank Montagny again, 5, 14, X, 8th one, nothing. The 9th one, Celso Miguez, 18, 14, eliminated. Frank Pera, 7th, 6th, 2nd, NC, 2, 10, C, not sure what C means, 11, 5, 9, 5, points, 372, rank 11th, gallery, the GD Borg's car in its pit garage in Silverstone Circuit, 2010, GD Borg's car on track at Silverstone Circuit, 2010, GD Borg's team truck at Brands Hatch, 2010. Table cannon. A table cannon is a retrograde and inverse cannon meant to be placed on a table in between two musicians who both read the same line of music in opposite directions. As both parts are included in each single line, a second line is not needed. Bucks, the musical offering, contains the table cannon. See also mirror cannon and crab cannon. Torre della Zecca. The Torre della Zecca, Mint Tower, is a tower in the city of Florence, closing the city off from the River Arno to the east and thus known as Torre Terminal. It is now isolated in the middle of a junction on the Valle di... What the hell was that word? Circumvallazione in Pizza. Piazza Piave near the Lungrano della Zecca Vica. This article is about an Italian building or a structure is a stub. Takako Kobayashi. Takako Kobayashi Takako, born 2nd April 1986, is a Japanese judoka. She competed in women's half middleweight event in the 1992 Summer Olympics. Peter Oliver, footballer. Peter Francis Razide Oliver, born 14th August 1948 in Dunfermline, is a former professional footballer who played as a defender for Heat of Midlothian, York City in Huddersfield Town. Vapor, Dowre. Vapor, Persian, is a village in Kashkan Rural District, Shavilan District, Dowre County, Launceston Province, Iran. At the 2006 census, its population was 369 families. Alberto Ricardo da Silva. Alberto Ricardo da Silva, 4th of April 1943 to 2nd April 2015, was the Roman Catholic Bishop of Dil East Timor. Early life. He was born in Ailu in East Timor when it was still a Portuguese colony. He studied in the minor cemetery of Dili and was sent to Mexico to study philosophy, and to Portugal to study theology in the major seminary of Leiria. Career. He was ordained a priest on 15th August 1972 in Portugal and served as a vicar general of Dil 1980 to 1992. He held a licentiate. I'm learning so many new words today. In spiritual theology from the Pontifical Gregorian University in Rome. Father da Silva's duties include spiritual director and later rector. At the Seminary of Our Lady of Fatima. Lady of Fatima. Brilliant name. In Dare. He was rector of the major seminary of SS Peter and Paul in Dili at the time of his episcopal appointment. Pope John Paul II named him as Bishop of Dili on 27th February 2004, and he was consecrated on 2nd May. The bishop took for his motto, Servus Verbi Domini, servant of the word of God. He was consecrated by Bishop Basilio do Nascimento of Bocao, East Timor, in the presence of 7 bishops from Australia, Indonesia, Japan, Macau, and Portugal. Nearly 30,000 people attended the consecration at Immaculate Conception Cathedral, including the Secretary of Apostolic Nunciature in Indonesia, Musker. I can't keep a straight face reading this. Novatus Rogambla. What are these words? I'm gonna sound so disrespectful when I don't mean to. Oh god, this is a bad idea. Novatus Rogambla, the president of East Timor, Xander Gusamau, Prime Minister Mari Al-Khatiri, along with cabinet members and foreign envoys. Later career. On 5th December 2005, he wrote to UN Secretary General Kofi Annan to reiterate the importance of justice to the people East Timor. He was concerned that politicians want to bury the truth to ensure that there is no accountability for those responsible for the atrocities committed from 1975 to 1999. He strongly urged the Secretary General to recommend that the Security Council adopt a resolution under Chapter VII of the United Nations Charter to create an intentional tribunal for East Timor. On April Fool's Day 2007, the bishop told some 2,000 young Catholics during Mass at the Immaculate Conception Cathedral, Delhi, to commemorate the 22nd World Youth Day to forgive each other, reconcile, and forge ahead in their rebuilding their violence-wrecked country. On 21st February 2012, Bishop Da Silva led a peace walk from Nossa Senhora Auxiliadora Church in Comoro to the bishop's residence in Lecidiri. Around 5,000 people took part, including priests, nuns, seminarians, laypeople, government officials, and foreign ambassadors. The bishop called on the people to participate in the upcoming presidential election peacefully. In February 2015, Pope Francis accepted his resignation as Bishop of Delhi. Bishop Da Silva died of brain cancer on 2nd April 2015. On January 30th, 2016, he was succeeded by Virgilio do Carmo da Silva, who was appointed by Pope Francis as Bishop of Delhi. In April 2016, the East Timor Prime Minister Rui Maria de Araújo praised the late bishop as Da Silva, as well as other church leaders, for their invaluable and unselfish contribution in the country's struggle for independence. He was speaking at a mass to celebrate the first anniversary of the bishop's death. Labour Council of New South Wales. The Labour Council of New South Wales, branded Union NSW, is the peak body for trade unions at the state of New South Wales, Australia. As of 2005, there are 67 unions and 8 rural and regional trades and labour councils affiliated to the Labour Council, representing 800,000 workers in NSW. It is registered at the State Peak Council of Employees under Section 215 of the Industrial Relations Act 1996, NSW. The council is affiliated with the Australian Council of Trade Unions, ACTU. History. The Labour Council was formed by 6 unions in 1871 and originally called the Trade and Labour Councils of Sydney. The council experienced rapid growth during its early history, with numbers of affiliated unions tripling between 1885 and 1890, and total memberships reaching 35,000 in that year, or 60% of union members in the colony of New South Wales. By 1891, 21.5% of all employees at the colony were union members, making it the most organised workforce in the world. Union organisation in the colonies suffered badly during the economic depression of the 1890s due to high unemployment, aggressive anti-union policies of employees, and number of large unsuccessful strikes during the 1890 Australian Maritime Dispute and the 1891 Australian Sharers Strike. In 1894, the Trades and Labour's Council of Sydney changed its name to Sydney District of Australasian. That is it? Yeah, no, that's not how Australian is spelled. Oh. In 1900, it again changed its name to the Sydney Labour Council, changing again 8 years later into the Labour Council of New South Wales in 2005. It adopted the brand name Union NSW for all public purposes, but retaining the official name Labour Council of New South Wales. Responsibilities. The Labour Council of New South Wales is responsible for implementing Australian Councils of Trade Unions policy with New South Wales, coordinating union activities and campaigns involving more than one union, providing assistance with research, negotiations, and advocacy to affiliate organisations, lobbying state parliament for socials and industrial reforms, providing a public point of contact for general inquiries on New South Wales unions, managed of the Sydney Trade Halls, which was transferred in 2002 to the Labour Council of the original trustees of the Trades Hall Association. Labour Council Secretaries. 1. W.M. Ford, 1871. 2. Thomas White, 1872. Union of Seamen Unions of Australia. 3. Angus Cameron, 1873. Progressive Society of Carpenters and Joiners. 4. Thomas White, 1873. Seamen's Union of Australia. 5. Frank B. Dixon, 1873. Operative Stonemasons Society. 6. Angus Cameron. Again. Although we already had a repeat and I didn't notice. Oh well. 1874. Progressive Society Carpenters and Joiners. Again. 7. Edward Aiken, 1874. 8. T.H. Hall, 1876. 9. W. Hesley, 1880. 10. William R. Roylance, also 1880. Operative Stonemason Society. 11. J. E. West, 1883. Operative Plumber Society. 12. Frank B. Dixon, 1883. Operative Stonemasons Society. 13. Thomas Simons, 1884. 14. James J. Corin, 1887. New South Wales Saddle Harness and Collar Makers Productive Society. 15. Thomas J. Houghton, 1888. New South Wales Typographical Association. 16. John Riddle, 1894. Operative Stonemason Society. 17. J.P. Cochran, 1894. United Labour's Union. 18. T.H. Thrower, 1903. United Furniture Trade Society. 19. J.P. Cochran, 1904. United Labourers Union. 20. E.J. Kavanagh. I'm going to assume that's how you pronounce it. 1910. Pressers Union of New South Wales. 21. J.S. Jock Garden, 1918. Operative Sailmakers Society. 22. J. Howie, 1922. Federated Coopers of Australia. 23. J.S. Jock Garden again. 1923. Operative Salesmakers Society again. 24. Robert Arthur King, 1934. Australian Saddlery Trades Employees Federation. 25. James Kenny, 1958. Australian Glassworkers Union. 26. Ralph Marsh, 1967. Boilermakers Society of Australia. 27. John Ducker, 1975. Federated Ironworkers Association. 28. Barry Unsworth, 1979. Electrical Trades Union. 29. John McBean, 1984. Electrical Trades Union. 30. Michael Earson, 1989. 31. Peter Sams, 1994. Australian Workers Union. 32. Michelle Costa, 1998. Australian Federated Union of Locomotive Engine Men. 33. John Robertson, 2001. Electrical Trades Union. 34. Mark Lennon, 2008. 35. Mark Moray, 2016. Rail, Tram and Bus Union. Ralph Vaughn. For the African American architect, see Ralph A. Vaughn. Ralph Lincoln Vaughn, February 12, 1918 to June 8, 1998, was an American basketball player for Southern California Trojans. He had led the Pacific Coast Conference in scoring his senior season of 1938-40 at 15 points per game, 118 conference play, in which he was named a consensus first-team All-American. That season, Vaughn led the Samsbury coach team to their first ever NCAA tournament, losing in the national semifinals. Vaughn once scored 36 points in a single game against UCLA, which was a conference record that stood for 21 years. At Frankfort High School in Indiana, Vaughn led the Northern Central Conference in scoring during his junior and senior seasons, winning the state championship as a junior in 1935. He was also dubbed All-State and played for future Hall of Famer Everett Cases. Vaughn appeared in the January 15, 1940 cover of Life magazine. He played in the National Basketball League for several years before getting into business. 1991. Mauritian Constitutional Referendum. A constitutional referendum was held in Mauritania on 12 July 1991. The new constitution would restore multi-party democracy for the first time since the 1960s, as well as creating a bicameral parliament with a Senate and National Assembly. The constitution would not include term limits for the president. It was approved by 97.94 voters with an 85.3 turnout. Results: for 713,493, 97.94% of voters. Against 14,999, 2.06%. Invalid or blank votes, 3,020. Total, 731,512 votes. Registered turners turnout, 857,121. Bit-Kama. Bit-Kama, House of Standing Grain, is a kibbutz in the northern Negev desert in Israel, located north of the Bedouin city of Rahat. It falls under the jurisdiction of Beni Shimon Regional Council. In 2019, its population was 1,405. Bit-Kama is a secular kibbutz that preserves the cooperative mode of life in most areas. Citation needed. It was traditionally affiliated to the Kibbutz Ha'artzi organization and the Hashoma Hatzer movement. Citation needed. Is the location of Nitzani HaNegev Regional Elementary High School. Elementary School. History. The kibbutz was founded on 18th April 1948, southeast of the Palestinian village Al-Jamama. Jamama. Once again, I'd like to iterate that I don't want to make any fun of anyone, which is being depopulated on 22nd May 1948 during the 1948 Arab-Israel War. The founders of Bit-Kama were immigrants from Hungary who belonged to Hashoma Hatzer what is that grammar? Whatever. Movement. Citation needed. The settlement was initially called Sefiech, but later became Bit-Kama, a name derived from Isaiah 17:5, and it shall be as when the reaper gathers standing grain. Economy. Bit-Kama jointly owns one of the largest agricultural cooperatives in Israel, Shikma, yes, together with Kibbutz Mishma-Hanegev, and operates a large dairy farm. Citation needed. Bit-Kama once owned a biomedical company, Kamada. Though these two branches still function within Bit-Kama, they no longer operated by the cooperative. It has a gas station at its junction at the road to Beersheba. Archaeology. In 2013, archaeologists of the Israel Antiques Authority discovered a Byzantine-era mosaic floor on the grounds of the kibbutz. The red, black, and yellow mosaic is decorated with images of birds, local flora, and geometrical designs. An ancient water system with pools and channels was also unearthed. Panorama of Bit-Kama. William Woodward Baldwin. William Woodward Baldwin, June 23, 1862 to 1954, was a United States lawyer who served as the third Assistant Secretary of State from 1896 to 1897. Biography. William Woodward Baldwin was born on June 23, 1862, the son of Summerfield and Frances Klug Baldwin. He was raised in Baltimore and studied at Phillips Exeter Academy from 1880 to 1882. He later attended Harvard College, graduating with a bachelor's arts degree in 1886, and the University of Maryland Law School, receiving an LL.B. in 1888. His wife, the former Catherine Willard, was a niece of Francis Willard. Together they had a son, Summerfield, in 1896. After law school, Baldwin moved to New York City, where he began to practice law, eventually as part of the law firm of Boston and Baldwin in 1980. I keep getting 18 and 19 mixed up in the years. 1896, President of United States Grover Cleveland selected Baldwin to be the third Assistant Secretary of State of Baldwin left his office from February 29th, 1896 until April 1st, 1897. After his time in office, Baldwin resumed the practice of law, settling in Burrcliff Manor, New York. He became a trustee of the Burrcliff Congregational Church, counsel to the village, and members of District Board Education and Mount Pleasant Field Club. Baldwin died on October 17, 1954, and is buried in Baldwin Memorial Church in Millersville, Maryland. See also the Harvard Monthly. Ampari Dogon. Ampari Dogon, also known as the Ambanj or Apari Kora, is a Dogon language spoken in Mali. The language has been called Ejengdo or column, so in the literature. However, there are two Ejeng groups, the Mombo and the Ampari. The Ampari understood Mombo, but not vice versa. This appeared to be learned intelligibly, since the Ampari visit Mombo yearly. In the village of Flicko, people call themselves Nyamboli, and the language Nyambin. What even is this letter? I don't know what that letter is. I'm just gonna assume it's similar to an N. I don't care. But these terms vary regionally. Retreat, Louisiana. Retreat is an unincorporated community in West Feliciana Parish, Louisiana, United States. Hulk Hogan owns and runs a bed and breakfast in this town. History. A post office called Retreat was established in 1940 and remained in operation until 1966. The community was so named on account of its idyllic setting. Variant names were Retreat Plantation and Soldiers Retreat. Kinetic resolution. In organic chemistry, kinetic resolution is a means of differentiating two enantiomers in a racemic mixture. In kinetic resolution, two enantiomers react with different reaction rates in chemical reaction with a chiral catalyst or reagent, resulting in an enantio-enriched sample of the less reactive enantiomer. As opposed to chiral resolution, kinetic resolution does not rely on different physical properties of disasteronic products, but rather on the different chemical properties of the racemic starting materials. This enantiometric excess EE of the unreacted starting material continually rises as more product is formed, reaching 100% just before full completion of the reaction. Kinetic resolution relies upon differences in reactivity between enantiomers and enantiomeric complexes. Kinetic resolution is a concept of organic chemistry and can be used for the preparation of chiral molecules in organic synthesis. Kinetic resolution reactions utilizing purely synthetic reagents and catalysts are much less common than in the use of enzymatic kinetic resolutions in application towards organic synthesis, although a number of useful synthetic techniques have been developed in the past 30 years. This is a long page. History. The first reported kinetic resolution was achieved by Louis Pasteur after reacting aqueous racemic ammonium tartrate with a mold from Penicillium gallusum. He re-isolated the remaining tartrate and found it was laboratory. The chiral microorganisms present in the mold catalyze the metabolism of RR tartrate selectively, leaving an excess of SS tartrate. Kinetic resolution by synthetic means was first reported by Markwald and Mackenzie in 1899 in the esterification of racemic mandelic acids with optically active negative methanol. With an excess of the racemic acid present, they observed the formation of ester derived from positive mandelic acid to be quicker than the formation of the ester from negative mandelic acid. The unreacted acid was observed to have a slight excess of negative mandelic acid, and the ester was later shown to yield positive mandelic acid upon saponification. The importance of this observation was that, in theory, if a half equivalent of negative methanol had been used, a highly enantio-enriched sample of negative mandelic acid could have been prepared. This observation led to the successful kinetic resolution of other chiral acids, the beginning of the use of kinetic resolution in organic chemistry. Theory. Kinetic resolution is a possible method for irreversibly differentiating a pair of enantiomers due to potentially differing activation energies. While both enantiomers are at the same Gibbs free energy level by definition, and the products of the reaction with both enantiomers are also at equal levels, the delta G, or transition of state energy, can differ. In the image below, the R enantiomer has a lower delta G and would thus react faster than the S enantiomer. The ideal kinetic resolution is that in which only one enantiomer reacts, i.e. Kr becomes Ks. The selectivity S of kinetic resolution is related to the rates constant of a reaction of R and S enantiomers, Kr and Ks, respectively by S equals Kr divided by Ks, for Kr is greater than Ks. This selectively can also be referred to as the relative rates of reaction. This can be written in terms of free energy difference between the high and low energy transition states delta delta G. S equals KR over KS equals E to the delta delta G divided by RT. This selectivity can be expressed in terms of EE and the recovered starting material and conversion C. If first order kinetics in substrate are assumed, it is assumed that the S atomiers of the starting material racemates will be recovered in excess. It is possible to express the concentration mole fractions of the S and R atomiers as S equals 1 plus EE times 1 minus C over 2 and R equals 1 minus EE times 1 minus C over 2, where EE is the EE of the starting material. Note that for C equals 0, which signifies the beginning of the reaction, S0 equals R0 equals 1/2, where these signify the initial concentrations of the atomiers. Then, for stoichionometric chiral resolving agent B. Asterisk. ds over dt equals minus ks times s times b asterisk becomes log s equals minus ks b asterisk t plus log s0. Note that the resolving agent of stoichiometric and achiral with chiral catalysts, the B asterisk term does not reappear. Regardless, with a similar expression for R, we can express S as S equals KR over KS equals log R minus log R0 over log S over minus log S0 equals log 1 minus C times 1 minus CE plus log 1/2 minus log R0 over log 1 minus C times 1 plus EE plus log 1/2 minus log S0 equals log 1 minus C times 1 minus EE over log 1 minus C times 1 plus EE. If we wish to express this in terms of enantiometric excess of the product EE, we must first make use of the fact that for products R and S form R and S respectively. EE second derivative equals R first derivative minus S first derivative over R first derivative plus S first derivative equals EE 1 minus C over C, which becomes EE equals EE to EE second derivative C over 1 minus C. From here we see that 1 equals EE equals 1 minus C minus CEE over 1 minus C. And 1 plus EE equals 1 minus C plus CEE double derivative over 1 minus C, which gives us 1 minus C times 1 minus CE equals 1 minus C times 1 plus EE second derivative, and 1 minus C times 1 plus EE equals 1 minus C times 1 minus EE second derivative, which when we plug into our expression for S derived above yields S equals log 1 minus C times 1 plus EE second derivative over log 1 minus C times 1 minus EE second derivative. Additionally, the expressions for C and EE can be parametrized to give explicit expressions for C and EE in terms of T. First, solving explicitly for S and R as functions of T yields ds over dt equals minus ks. S becomes S equals 1/2 e to the power kst, which plugged into the expression for EE and C gives EE equals S minus R over S plus R equals e to the power minus kst minus e to the power krt. Wait. No. EE equals S minus R over S plus R equals e to the minus kst minus e minus krt over e minus kst plus e minus krt. C equals 1 minus the C equals 1 minus S minus R equals 1 minus e to the power minus kst plus e to the power minus krt over 2. Without loss of generality, we can allow ks equals 1, which gives kr equals s, simplifying the above expression. Similarly, an expression for EE double derivative as a function of t can be derived. EE double derivative equals 1 minus c over c EE plus, equals e to the minus t plus e to the minus st over 2 minus e to the minus t minus e to the minus st times e to the minus t minus e to the minus st e to the over e minus e to the power minus t plus e to the power minus st. Thus, plots of EE and EE second derivative versus C can be generated with t as the parameter and different values of s generating different curves, as shown below. As can be seen, high enantiometric excesses are much more readily attainable for the unreacted starting material. There is, however, a trade-off between EE and conversion, with higher EE for the recovered substrate obtained at a higher conversion and therefore lower isolated yields. For example, with a selectivity factor of just 10, 99% of EE is possible with approximately 70% of conversion, resulting in a yield of about 30%. In contrast, in order to get good EEs and yield of the product, very high selectivity factors is necessary. For example, with a selectivity factor of 10, EE double derivative above approximately 80% is unattainable, and significantly lower EE double derivative values are obtained for more realistic conversions. A selectivity in excess of 50 is required for highly enantioenriched products in reasonable yield. This is a simplified version of the true kinetics of kinetic resolution. The assumption is that the reaction is first order in substrate is limiting, and it is possible that the dependence on substrate may depend on conversion, resulting in a much more complicated picture. As a result, a common approach to measure and report only yields and EEs is the formula for KREL. Only applies to the idealized kinetic resolution. It is simple to consider an initial substrate catalyst complex forming, which can negate the first order kinetics. However, the general conclusions drawn are still helpful to understand the effects of selectivity and conversion on EE. Practicality. With the advent of asymmetrical catalysts, it is necessary to consider the practicality of utilizing kinetic resolutions for the preparation of enantiopure products. Even for a product which can be attained through an asymmetric catalyst or auxiliary base routes, the race may be significantly less expensive than the enantiopure material, resulting in heightened cost effectiveness even with inherent loss of 50% of the material. The following have been proposed as a necessary condition for practical kinetic resolution. Inexpensive race mate and catalyst, no appropriate enantioselective chiarapole or classical resolution routes possible. Resolution proceeds selectively at low catalyst loadings, and separation of starting material and product is facile. To date, a number of catalysts for kinetic resolution have been developed that satisfy most, if not all, the above criteria, making them highly practical for use in organic synthesis. The following section will discuss a number of key examples. Reaction utilizing synthetic reagents. Acylation reaction. Gregory Fu and colleagues have developed a methodology utilizing a chiral DMAP analog to achieve excellent kinetic resolution of secondary alcohols. Initial studies utilizing ether as a solvent, low catalyst loadings, 2 mole%, acetic and acetic anhydride is the alkylating agent in triethylamine at room temperature. Gave selectivities ranging from 14 to 52, corresponding to EEs of the recovered alcohol product as high as 99.2%. However, solvent screening proved that the use of tert-aryl alcohol increased both the reactivity and selectivity. With the benchmark substrate 1-phenylethanol, this corresponds to 99% EE of the unreacted alcohol at 55% conversion when run at 0 degrees. This system proved to be adept at resolution at a number of carbenols with selectivities as high as 95%, as 95, and low catalyst loadings of 1%. As shown below, utilizing the negative... Is there two negatives? There's negative. Okay then. Enantiomer of the catalyst. This resulted in highly enantiomer-enriched alcohols at very low conversions, giving excellent yields as well. In addition, the high selectivities resulted in highly enantiomer-enriched alkylated products, with a 90% EE sample of alkylated alcohol for toluylmethylcarbinol with S equals 71. In addition, Fu reported the first highly selective alkylation of racemic diols, as well as desymmetrization of mesodiols, with low catalyst loading of 1%. An enantiomer-enriched diol was recovered in 99% EE and 43% yield, with the diacetates in 39% yield and 99% EE. The remainder of the material was recovered as a mixture of monoacetate. The planar-chiral DMAP catalyst was also shown to be effective at kinetically resolving propylylic alcohols. In this case, though, selectivities were found to be highest without any base present. When run with 1 mole of the catalyst at 0 degrees, selectivities as high as 20 could be attained. The limitations of methods include the requirements of unsaturated functionality, such as carbonyl or alkanines. Have I been mispronouncing that the entire time? Yeah, whatever. At the remote alkylinal position, alcohols resolved using the plus-minus enantiomer of the DMAP catalyst are shown below. Fu also showed his chiral DMAP catalyst ability to solve acrylic alcohols. Effective selectivity was dependent upon the presence of either a geminal or substitution to the alcohol-bearing group, with a notable exception of trans-phenyl alcohol, which exhibited the highest selectivity. Using 1 to 2.5 mole% of the plus-minus enantiomer of the DMAP catalyst, the alcohols shown were resolved in the presence of triethylamine. While Fu's DMAP analog catalyst worked exceptionally well to kinetically resolve racemic alcohols, it was not successful in the use for kinetic resolution of amines. A similar catalyst, PPY, was developed that, in use with a novel alkylating agent, used for the successful kinetic resolution of actinityl amines, with 10 more percent minus ppy in chloroform at minus 50 degrees Celsius. Good to very good selectivities were observed in the acylation of amines shown below. A similar protocol was developed for the kinetic resolution of indolines. Epoxidations and dihydroxylations. The sharpless epoxidations developed by K. Barry Sharpless in 1980 has been utilized for the kinetic resolution of a racemic mixture of acrylic alcohols. While extremely effective at resolving a number of allylic alcohols, this method has a number of drawbacks. Reaction time can run as long as 6 days, and the catalyst is not recyclable. However, the sharpless asymmetric epoxidation kinetic resolution remains one of the most effective synthetic kinetic resolutions to date. A number of different tartrates can be used for the catalyst. A representative scheme is shown below, utilizing dispropyl tartrate. I've never seen a word with double I's before. This method has seen general use on a number of secondary allylic alcohols. Sharpless asymmetric dihydroxylation has also seen use as a method of kinetic resolution. This method was not widely used, however, since the same resolution can be accomplished in different manners that are more economical. Additionally, the She expedition has also shown to affect kinetic resolution of a limited selection of olefins. This method is also not widely used, but is of mechanistic interest. Epoxide openings. While encantoselective epoxidations have been successfully achieved utilizing sharpless epoxidation, She epoxidation, and Jacobsen epoxidation, none of these methods allow for effective asymmetric synthesis of terminal epoxides, which are key chiral building blocks. Due to the inexpensiveness of most racemic terminal epoxides and their inability to generally be subjective to classical resolution, an effective kinetic resolution of terminal epoxides would serve as a highly important synthetic methodology in 1996. Jacobsen and co-workers developed a methodology for the kinetic resolution of epoxides via nucleophilic ring openings with attack by an azide anion. The RR catalyst is shown. The catalyst could effectively, with loadings as low as 0.5 mole, open the epoxide at the terminal position and NTO selectively, yielding an NTO enriched epoxide starting material and one. Is that a comma or a period? I think that's a comma. 1,2 azido alcohols yields are nearly quantitative, and EEs were excellent, more than or equal to 95% in nearly all cases. The 1,2 azido alcohols can be hydrogenated to give 1,2 amino alcohols, as shown below. In 1997, Jacobsen Group published a methodology which improved upon their earlier work, allowing for the use of water as the nucleophile in the epoxide opening, utilizing a nearly identical catalyst, EE in excess of 98 for both the recovered starting material epoxide and 1,2-diol products were observed in the sample below. Hydrolytic kinetic resolution (HKR) was carried out on a 58-gram scale, resulting in 26G, 44% of the enantioenriched epoxide in more than 99% EE, and 38G, 50% of the diol in 98% EE. I really need a drink right now. A multitude of other substrates were examined, with the yields of the recovered epoxide ranging from 36 to 48% for more than 99% EE. Jacobsen hydrolytic kinetic resolution can be used in tandem with Jacobsen epoxidation to yield enantiopure epoxides from certain olefins, as shown below. The first epoxidation yields a slightly sneeze. Slightly enantioenriched epoxide and subsequent kinetic resolution yields essentially a single enantiomer. The advantage of this approach is the ability to reduce the amount of hydrolytic cleavage? Oh, okay. Necessary to achieve high enantio selectivity, allowing for overall yields of approximately 90% based on the olefin. That sneeze got so much snot on my nose. Ultimately, the Jacobsen epoxide opening kinetic resolution produces high enantiometric purity in the epoxide and product in solvent-free or low solvent conditions, and has been applicable on large scale. The Jacobsen methodology for HKR in particular is extremely attractive, since it can be carried out on a I don't know why that word is so hard for me to pronounce for some reason. Multician scale, and utilizes water as the... Okay, well, maybe it wasn't that it was hard to pronounce, it was just hard to read, because it has so many thin letters. Anyway, scale and utilizes water as the nucleophile, resulting in extremely cost-effective industrial processes. Despite impressive achievements, HKR has generally been applied to the resolution of simple terminal epoxides with one stereocenter. Quite recently, D.A. Devalankar et al. Reported an elegant protocol involving two stereocentered co-catalyzed HKR of racemic terminal epoxides bearing adjacent CC binding substituents. Oxidations. Ryoji Noyori and colleagues have developed a methodology for the kinetic resolution of benzylic and allylic secondary alcohols via transfer hydrogenation. The ruthenium complex catalyzes oxidation of the more reactive enantiomer from acetone, yielding an unreacted enantiopure alcohol and oxidized ketone, and isopropanol. Why is the first instance of it not hyperlinked but the second instant it is? Okay then. In the example illustrated below, exposure of 1 pentylethanol to the SS enantiomer of the catalyst of the present of acetone results in a 51% yield of 94% EE R-1 minus R1. I think those are dashes, not. I think those are meant to be dashes actually, not minus signs. Whatever. R1 penlethanol along with 49% acetopenone and isopropanol as a byproduct. This methodology is essentially the reverse of Noyori's asymmetric transfer hydrogen of ketones, which yield enantiomer-enriched alcohols via reduction. This limits the attractiveness of the kinetic resolution method, since there is a similar method to achieve the same product without the loss of half the material. Thus, kinetic resolution would only be carried out in instances for which the racemic alcohol was at least one half the price of the ketone or significantly easier to access. In addition, Iumura and Hidai have developed a ruthenium catalyst for the kinetic resolution oxidation of benzylic alcohols, yielding highly enantiomer-enriched alcohols in good yields. The complexity can, like Noyori's catalyst, affect transfer hydrogenation between a ketone and isopropanol to give an enantiomer-enriched alcohol, as well as an affect kinetic resolution of a racemic alcohol given enantiopure alcohol, more than 99% EE, and oxidized ketone, with acetone as the byproduct. It is highly effective at reducing ketones enantioselectivity, giving most benzylic alcohols in more than 99% EE, and can resolve a number of racemic benzylic alcohols to give yields up to 49%, high yields up to 49% of single enantiomers, as shown below. This method has the same disadvantages as the Noyori kinetic resolution, namely that the alcohols can be accessed via reduction of the ketones enantioselectively. Additionally, only one of the enantiomers of the catalyst has been reported. Good grief, we're only halfway down the page. Hydrogenation. Noyori has also demonstrated the kinetic resolution of acrylic alcohols, allylic alcohols by asymmetric hydrogenation of the olefin. Utilizing the Ru-Binap complex, selective hydrogenation can give high EEs of the unsaturated alcohol in addition to the hydrogenated alcohol as shown below. Thus, a second hydrogenation of the enantiomer-enriched acrylic alcohol remaining will give enantiometrically pure samples of both enantiomers of the saturated alcohol. Noyori has resolved a number of allylic alcohols with good to excellent yields and good to excellent EEs, up to more than 99%. Ring closing metathesis. Hoviada and Schrock have developed a catalyst for ring closing methylatus kinetic resolution of dianyl allylic alcohols. The molybdenum. Oh, what are some of these words, honestly? Achilliodine catalyst, selective catalyze one enantiomer to perform ring closing methylesis, resulting in an enantiopure alcohol and an enantiopure closed ring, as shown below. The catalyst is most effective at resolving 1,6-dienes. However, slight structural changes in the substrate, such as increasing the inner alkali distance to 1.7, can sometimes necessitate the use of different catalysts reducing the efficiency of this model. Enzymatic reactions, acylations. As with synthetic kinetic resolution procedures, enzymatic alkylations kinetic resolutions have seen the broadest application in the synthetic context. Especially important has been the use of enzymatic kinetic resolution to efficiently and cheaply prepare amino acids on a commercial scale. Megusta, as they say in Italy. Degusta's methodology employing alkylasis is capable of resolving numerous natural and unnatural amino acids. The race mixtures can be prepared via synthesis and the use of either porcine, kidney, acylus, for straight chain substrates, or an enzyme from the mold, asparagus, aspergillus, or Oryzae for branch side chain substrates can effectively yield an enantiomer-enriched amino acids in high 80 to 90% yields. The unreacted starting material can be racemized in situ, thus making this a dynamic kinetic solution. In addition, lipases are used extensively for kinetic resolution in both academic and industrial settings. Lipases are being used to resolve primary alcohols, secondary alcohols, and a limited number of tertiary alcohols. Carboxylic acids, diols, and even chiral allinous lipase from Pseudomonas cepacial PSL is the most widely used in the resolution of primary alcohols and is being used with vinyl acetate as an I'm having a stroke, I swear. Acylating agent to kinetically resolve the primary alcohols shown below. It's too much IQ. My brain is expanding too big and it's giving me a stroke. For the resolution of secondary alcohols, Pseudomonas cepacial Sepecule lipase PSLC has been employed effectively to generate excellent EEs of the enantiomer of the alcohol. My head hurts. I'm actually having a stroke probably. The use of isopropanol acetate as the acylating agent result in haste times of the byproduct, which is effectively removed from reaction using molecular sieves. Oxidation reduction. Baker's yeast has been utilized for the kinetic resolution of alpha stereogenic carbonyl compounds. Oh, feeling faint. The enzyme selectivity reduces one enantiomer, yielding in highly enantiomer-enriched alcohol and ketone as shown below. Is the screen game bright? Oh, I can't tell. I can't breathe. I'm gonna faint. I'm gonna faint. Oh, I need help. My face is feeling numb. Oh god. Guys, I can't go on anymore. My eyes are watering. I'm dying. I'm dying.